Cole Palmer, Reece James, Malo Gusto, Romeo Lavia. If I was to ask you, what do these 4 players have in common, what would you say? They're the 4 best players currently at Chelsea Football Club? I would agree with that, but that is not the answer I'm looking for. The answer I'm looking for is they're all injured. With the news that these players are injured for Chelsea currently in the international break, is this the start of another injury crisis at Chelsea? Or is this a case that Chelsea players just don't want to play international football? Well, in this video, we're going to go over the most recent injury updates of these 4 players, have a little look into what the injuries are, when they will be returning to play for Chelsea, and if this will be a cause of concern for Chelsea and Chelsea fans. Now, of course, if you do like Chelsea content, make sure you leave a like on the video. It really does help. And if you are new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because then you'll be notified every time I upload content about Chelsea. So let's take a look at the injury updates at Chelsea, where our 4 best players are currently injured during the international break. The first player we're going to talk about on the injury list is Cole Palmer. Now, Chelsea put an article on their website on the 3rd of September stating Cole Palmer returns from England duty. Cole Palmer has withdrawn from the England squad for his month's international break and will return to Chelsea. The 22-year-old was initially one of 3 Chelsea players alongside Levi Colwill and Noni Madueke, named in by the interim manager Lee Carsley, first England squad for the upcoming UEFA Nations League fixture against the Republic of Ireland and Finland. However, Palmer has now left the England camp and will return to Cobham to continue rehabilitation for ongoing issues for the remainder of the international break. Now, we know that Cole Palmer picked up a knock against Crystal Palace. We saw him sort of hobbling off near the end of the game. And a lot of Chelsea fans, with the people watching and, seeing the highlights and everything after, all the talk online is, we hope that he's okay, we hope it's something minor, because without Cole Palmer, we are in trouble. But I do have a theory for Cole Palmer specifically. Yes, he may have a little knock and they might genuinely be trying to make sure that he doesn't overdo it and he recovers from injury during this international break so he can continue playing for Chelsea against Bournemouth when the international break finishes. And I really do hope that that is the case. There is a part of me that believes that because he was so underutilised in the Euros and no one really watches the UEFA Nation League, I don't know anyone that watches it, there is an element of me that they're using this as an excuse where it's not as bad as initially thought, and they're going, yeah, he's injured, he can't play. So he can go back to Cobham, do his rehab, and be ready for the Premier League season. In my honest opinion, the first international break of the season is the worst. They're all crap, to be fair. I hate international breaks. But the first one of the season, you play 3 Premier League games, you get a bit of momentum, you start getting back into the swing of it, watching games and seeing all these players play, and then it just stops. For internationals, for the UEFA Nations League. What even is that tournament? It's a glorified friendly. So that's my theory on Cole Palmer's injury. Maybe he does have a genuine knock, as we saw at the end of the Crystal Palace game. But let's hope it's nothing major, and let's hope he's kind of used this as an excuse to just keep training at Cobham and be ready for the Premier League. Editor Jay here. Since recording this video and while editing this video, another news article has come out to say that Cole Palmer's injury is nothing but muscle fatigue. He will have a week off and should be back for the Bournemouth game. So I'm going to put this in here to make sure that this isn't so out of date, but that's currently where we're at with the injuries. Let's move on to Reece James. Reece James, who is just consistently injured, whether he has surgery or not, apparently. It's just something that's not new for Chelsea fans. It's something that's painful to kind of accept and digest every time you read it, but at the same time, you kind of expect it at this point. It's been reported by Matt Law that Reece James is unlikely to be fit enough to start against Chelsea's next opponent, Bournemouth. He is still thought to be a couple of weeks away from returning to full training. Now, I'm going to be honest, I fully expected this because of Reece's track record of consistent injuries. You just think, well, they say he's going to be back by this time, but if we think about all the times I've said that before, they're always wrong. So we knew it was going to be longer than what was anticipated, and it's just disappointing. It's just disappointing. Now, I love Reece. I love Reece James. I think he's amazing. Academy graduate. One of the best right backs in the world when he's fit, which is an argument I actually don't really like because he's never fit. So I don't think he can actually be in that category unless he has a run of games and stays fit for 3/4 of a season at least. However, this one doesn't really hurt as much because we kind of expected it. We want Reece to do well. We want him to stay fit. He had the surgery at the end of last season to stop having more injuries. It was meant to be a prevention surgery, right? Fix the damage, prevents any further injuries, take it easy, ease him in. He's not looked the same player since through pre-season. It's been made abundantly clear, whether it's the new system or just he was kind of subconsciously trying not to get injured by playing. We gave him a lot of minutes. and now he's injured again. So I don't really know what to say about Reece James. I'll probably do a separate video on Reece James later on in the year because I think we need to have conversations about him. And I know that is a bold thing to say as a Chelsea fan because he's an academy graduate and he's that good and he's world class. I totally agree with that, but I don't understand why he keeps getting injured. We've even got rid of the medical team and got new people in, so can't even blame them anymore. Has Reece James got a sustainable career, or has he got to reevaluate his options? Hopefully I'm overshooting this, and I really pray that I am. I would love for this to come back and bite me in the arse because I'm like horrendously wrong. I would love that, but I don't think it will. Moving on to another right back who we heavily rely on because Reece James is always injured, Malo Gusto. I think Malo Gusto is an incredible player and we have already demanded a lot from him since we've signed him. But Chelsea have also released a statement saying that Malo Gusto has also withdrawn from the France under-21 squad because of a thigh injury, and the French Football Federation has confirmed this. Again, we saw him moving, we actually saw him pull up with an injury on the ball with no player around him at Crystal Palace, which usually shows that it's going to be an injury that he's probably going to have for a little while. Now, obviously, we hope that Malo Gusto's injury is not that serious and he can recover from it quickly for two reasons. One, it's not nice not having a right back. That means we're going to have to play Disasi at right back until either Reece James or Gusto is fit again. And once they're fit again, you need to integrate them the right way so they don't get injured again. So let's just hope that this is not a serious injury for Malo Gusto. Two, he's a youngster who is an incredibly talented player and we love seeing him. He's one of our best players. So fingers crossed that Malo Gusto is not injured for long. And lastly, we have Romeo Lavia, who is a Chelsea player who spent most of last season, if not all of last season, on the injury table, played about 30 minutes of football, has had an incredible pre-season. I think Enzo Maresca's done a very good job of managing his minutes and making sure he stays fit. He's still picked up an injury, which is fine. He's come back from a long period of injury, but he's also shown us in a very short space how good he is and how integral he will be to Enzo Maresca's system. We've actually had a bit of a boost in this injury update. It's been reported by Chelsea.news that Chelsea get a huge injury boost in midfield just in time for the Bournemouth game. Chelsea have received a huge boost in midfield ahead of their next Premier League game against Bournemouth on September the 14th. The international break has come at a good time really in terms of injuries at least, because there is a gap now before Chelsea play again and it gives some of the injured players a chance to get fit and ready again to play. One of those is Romeo Lavia, who has been a huge miss in the middle of the park for Chelsea. Blue Sands will be hoping that it's not a repeat of last season when Lavia literally only played one game. They will be hoping that we do not have another Reece James in terms of consistently being out injured. My God, is that true? Now, originally, Romeo Lavia was expected to come back into the Chelsea team for the West Ham game on the 21st of September. And I actually posted on my TikTok, and that was the data that I had. In the meantime of me posting that and me recording this video, this article was dropped and it's now been pushed forward to the Bournemouth game, which I believe is on the 14th of September. Now, this is really good news. And again, we are praying that Romeo Lavia's injury is just something minor, just a little blip in his road to recovery, and he can play for Chelsea a lot more this season. My God, does that midfield miss Romeo Lavia. And that is all the latest injury news regarding these four players at Chelsea. Now, I want to ask a question. Do you think this is the start of an injury crisis at Chelsea this season, or do you think it's just a genuine coincidence that these players are injured across the international break? I'll be very interested to hear your thoughts. I personally don't think it is the start of an injury crisis, even though that's what the thumbnail and title of this video will say. It could potentially be the start of one, but I don't think it is. I think it's a mixture of players having little knocks and using that to get out of international duty, as well as actually just having players like Lavia who's been injured across this period and are looking to come back. Same with Reece James. What has helped Reece James in a sense is he's also been banned from the previous red card he got last season. That's now been lifted. So as soon as he's fit and ready to get some minutes, he should be playing for Chelsea. But I would be very interested to get your thoughts on this situation. How do you feel about these players being injured? Do you think with our squad depth we'll be fine? I think across the park we're pretty solid and pretty good for cover, other than that right back slot. If Gusto and Reece James are out, we're going to have to play Disasi there, and that does not fill me with confidence. And this is the part of the video where a thumbnail is here, so if you do enjoy Chelsea content, give that a click because you'll probably enjoy that too.